How's it going, everyone? I'm currently editing this video right now and getting some of my fishing gear situated for fishing this weekend. I always like to get my gear ready a night or two in advance so it's all ready when you actually hit the water. I'm actually sharing some old footage that I took on a GoPro Hero 2 while doing some tripletail fishing just off the beach. I thought it was some really great fishing and some great content, so I wanted to share it with everyone, but keep in mind the quality of the footage isn't going to be the same as like on the GoPro Hero 10 that I'm using now, which isn't even brand new, but still like bringing better quality footage. So let me know what you think. I have more footage like this and I'd love to share it with everyone if you really like it. So please subscribe and I hope you enjoy this. I'll have more footage soon. How's it going, everyone? I got an early start this morning at the beach with the paddleboard, some storm chances, but we're gonna do our best to avoid them. I'm just loading up the gear on the paddleboard, and crazy enough, I found some bait inside this little channel, this little bit of water that's creeping inside the sandbar, and I just loaded up on bait here. So now that I've got all my bait for the day, I just need to get it in my bucket and in my bait bucket so that I have it on my board with me for the day. I don't know why I did this, but for some reason I just thought I could hand pick like the best baits here. So I totally regret not just dumping this cast net in the bucket, but I just dump it all on the beach and then I go back and I start hand picking, trying to find the biggest baits that I can use for the day. And quickly I give up and I just start scooping by hand, dumping them in, and then I transfer them to the bait bucket from the 5-gallon bucket. And I'll keep bait in both places during the day just so I can have the most bait on me. But then I just start creeping down this little creek, this little channel where water had come in with the tide inside this first sandbar, and it made a great place to get on the board. And crazy that I was able to get bait in here. This was so shallow and narrow. It was surprising that the bait came up into this little creek, but it was a great opportunity for me to get on the board and crash through some surf to get out on the water. This was a pretty calm day for the beach out here. There's still a little bit of surf to get through as I get out into like the, just off the shore. So now I'm just out of the waves and I'm gonna start making my way down the shoreline, down the beach to where some crab pots have, drifted in from the stone crab season. And, when you're targeting tripletail, a lot of people just run traps. And it's important to keep in mind that like traps get lost and you can find them, and that's what's happened here. It's just some traps have just been lost. They're considered like lost traps, and they just grow a bunch of algae because they just stay here for extended periods of time. But I just know that there's usually some tripletail around here, so I'm just like moving around, casting at different pots. It's still early, the sun hasn't come out yet, but just trying my luck. Always making sure to dip my bait back in the water and refresh that water for them. I have an anchor with me also that I drop at strategic locations so I can just cast out a few pots that I think there's fish on. Some boats kind of creep in on me once in a while, but for the most part they kind of keep their distance. Cut to a little bit later in the morning, and I've already actually caught one tripletail, but my camera was really dirty, so I just cut that out. But we got some good bait, and I'm starting to know that there's fish in this area still, so I'm just going to reposition and get a little closer to some of these buoys. And while I'm out here, I actually have a tarpon rod out, which is the bigger rod in this rod holder, and that's just out with a big bait on it on a float, just because I've seen some tarpon in the area. So every once in a while I'm seeing some fish on the surface on these buoys. I had cast over here just, expecting to get a bite, and, lucky enough that fish was still hanging around, and I felt him whack it and just reel down tight, and, we got our second fish of the day. Just, a nice tripletail. And funny enough, these fish actually do jump, but this was just like a pretty quality fish, my bigger one this morning, and they'll work you. So it's important to like make sure you have the right equipment when you're fishing for tripletail, especially of significant size, because they can put some heat on you and get you in the structure if they're holding to some structure. in this case, they're holding to these lost crab pots, and those get some algae, get some barnacles, and the structure on the bottom of them, they can just break you off no problem if they can reach it. So it's important to have the right equipment. This fish was just putting up a really good fight, and funny enough, it's just me going around this tarpon rod that I got out. Luckily, being anchored, it doesn't drag me around too much, but I do have to keep my anchor line in check and know that I don't get this fish wrapped around my own anchor. But get this rod out of the way real quick and get my grips here so I'm ready when this fish comes to the side of the board.
Right in the corner.
This was just a great day, so I wanted to be able to share this with everybody. Really nice fish. So let me know what everyone thinks. I'm gonna, this will keep rolling, but I have more footage like this, so I'd love to share more. But just a really quality triple tail, especially on the paddleboard. Snapped a photo, and then I think I throw this fish in the cooler. It's gonna be dinner. Grab my rod. Let's get another bait out. It's also always important to check your leader, make sure everything's good after catching a fish. And sure enough, it didn't take long, but I think I just got whacked like almost immediately after that last fish. And it's just another quality triple tail. These fish just come in here. Sometimes they're stacked, sometimes they're just a few fish at a time. But if you can find the crab pots during the right time of the year, when the season is for them, you can usually find some fish. But they'll come and go, just like any other fish will. This fish is just digging and digging. A lot of what they do is just screaming along the surface or digging down low. And unfortunately, this one just wants to stay behind my paddleboard, so I'm just playing around this extra rod I got rigged up in the back, just trying to move this fish around the board. But these fish just fight great. They're super strong. This is a 7-foot medium heavy St. Croix avid rod, I believe, and it is just it's handling this fish well, but it is certainly putting up a good fight. And this is on a 4,000 Shimano Stratic as well. So these fish certainly, you don't want to go too light of gear when you're targeting these fish, because if you find them around some structure, they'll certainly break you off a few times before you can get one out on some light tackle. So it's always important to be going with the right gear. And on the paddleboard, this little rod tube on the front is just super handy, especially for like putting out a rod when you're out doing stuff. I use this all the time, and having the grips for these fish are super handy too. But in this case, I'm having some trouble getting him lipped, but he opens up and I'm able to get him on here. But when possible, it's great to be able to leave these fish in the water, just keep them alive and keep them oxygenated. This fish has got some thorns, and I got some some cuts on this one, either from the spine or from the gill plate there. They got some defenses, so be careful when handling them. They're just like dinosaurs pretty much. But still just another quality fish on this paddleboard this morning. This one, I think I just, get back in the water and give it a turn down, and it just takes off. These fish are really, really hardy fish. So I just got another bait on. I, check my hook, make sure everything's good. It's always good to check your leader, and then I'm just sitting in the same spot, and some fish are just fortunately holding up here for me. So I think I might have seen something here and just really quickly make another cast, and I'm just catching this drift, and sure enough, I just feel a whack, and in no time I'm just hooked up to another really good fish. Some of these bigger fish will actually come at you early on, and so I think going on to this bite, I felt like it was really heavy, and when he came right at me, I was pretty suspicious I was hooked up to a good fish. And he is just full of life when he hits the surface here, so I know I'm in for it. Just digging around the back, trying to keep him out of my anchor line, getting all my rods out of the way, just running me around this paddleboard. And then over the head spin, and then I'm just perfectly set up on the front of the board again. But just really, really nice triple tail. My bait bucket opens up in all this chaos, so it's just leaking bait, unfortunately. But you know, these mornings I'll come out, I'll just spend a few hours, not even like that long, just doing some fishing, so I don't need that much bait. But this fish again is giving me a good challenge, and I'm using, like, you know, medium heavy equipment to heavy equipment for inshore. And you know, this fish, you know, was not an easy fight for this gear. So it just really is you know, evidence that you need to, you know, come prepared and be fishing the right gear. So I moved this rod out of my way. Now I can use my rod tube for this rod when I go to handle this fish. Super, super handy piece of equipment. Grab my grips. Super easy. And then just pull this slob on the board. Really, really nice fish. Let me get this bucket out of the way. I got some dead baits in here. I won't need those any longer. And just like a really quality triple tail on the paddleboard. Great for a good photo right here. I just get one real quick on my phone and then just keep on. Put my rod back. Check out where this hook's at. See if I can get this out. And sure enough, I grab my pliers, and I can't remember if I just cut this one or was able to get it out, but I imagine I cut it. But yeah, now I snap a photo and get this fish back in the water. Just a really, really stocky fish. They're such cool fish. But they're only here for, at least, you know, in Southwest Florida, they're only here for a certain time. So it's important to make the most of it when you can find them. Alrighty, now I'm making my way back to where I launched, just paddling into the wind this time. But really great morning. You know, just come out here for a few hours and loading up on bait's always great, and catching a few fish with, you know, a small time window is just a lot of fun. Super fortunate, and I'm able to just kind of squeeze into this beach between some waves and get back on my board to help guide it in. Yeah, you gotta be careful when you're off the beach. You can tip these things easy, just in some serious waves. But with the L4 paddleboard, the Live Water Sports, it's super comfortable and more stable than a lot of other boards. But just a great day, and I got dinner for a while for the family, and I really hope everyone enjoys this content. You know, this is some older content, so I hope everyone enjoyed it, and leave some comments and subscribe. I hope to be bringing you some more. Catch you later.